Our political forum. On tonight, we will be talking to the two highway supervisors, Mr. Jeff Bryant and Mr. Brian Knight. Going to give them an opportunity to speak on tonight and just give their platform. And Miss Marquita Bradshaw, if she shows up for the U.S. Senate. I'm not sure if she's present just yet.
Not yet.
Okay. So Mr. Bryant and Mr. Knight, for you on this evening, I'll just be asking you a series of questions going from one person to the next person, and you'll have initially 2 minutes to just introduce yourself and state your platform if you like, and anything else that you would like to say within that 2 minutes. I'll ask you a question, and each question you'll get between 1 and 2 minutes to respond to the question and make your statement. I just ask that because you all already know each other and we've been here before, I think you're pretty friendly to one another already. So we're just going to just stating it just for this forum, just to show respect to one another as far as interruption, what have you. But I already know that both of you are pretty respectful to one another, so I appreciate that. After you, we won't have any questions from the people until after I get finished, but Jimmy, you can collect them and I may be able to see them pop up. If I do, just so it won't distract me, I probably won't write them down or anything, but I'm just gonna go with the questions that I have. We'll go with the highway supervisors first, and then after we finish the highway supervisors, we'll move on to the U.S. Senate. And do you guys have any questions? Jimmy, would you like to say anything before I begin?
No, I just want everybody to know that we invite, whenever we do a forum, we definitely invite all of the candidates that's running for the positions. Some choose to come, some choose not. We cannot hold up our forum just because some choose not to come. We thank you for taking the time out to be with us, and we hope that you enjoy this encounter, and we will do our best to get the information out that you provide us tonight to people about and within our community of interest. Again, thank you for being here. Bridget, it's on you.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Jeff Bryant, we're going to go ahead and start with you with the first question, okay? And then from there...
Introduce himself, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean, forgive me. We're going to start with you, Mr. Bryant, where you can introduce yourself first.
All right, sounds good. I'll keep it kind of brief. I am Jeff Bryant, Montgomery County candidate for highway supervisor. I am a lifetime resident of Montgomery County. Grew up around Montgomery Central. I graduated from Montgomery Central High School. From there, I went to University of Tennessee at Martin, where I graduated with a BS in engineering. I have 15 years of engineering experience, and 12 and a half of those are with the Clarksville Street Department. I am the only licensed engineer that's running, and I think that's a huge benefit for the taxpayers in Montgomery County to have an engineer leading the department. It gives me the ability to modernize the department. You know, I can bring outsourced engineering review in-house and save those tax dollars and put those towards roadway improvements. I also have the ability to go work with TDOT and bring in state and federal funding to move those type projects on state roads up on the radar a little quicker and get those projects done. So those are a few of the things that I can do as a licensed engineer at the highway department. And so I think some more things have come out of what my platform is going to be with the questions. So I'll just leave it at that, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you. And I do want to thank the NAACP for getting this forum started tonight for us, and so we can share our platform. Thank you.
Absolutely. I would like to say if all of you could mute your phone or your iPads or computers, whatever you have, just mute everything, and the two people who are going to be speaking tonight, just have you all can unmute yours unless you have a major background noise. So Mr. Brian Knight. Thank you very much for showing up.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Brian Knight. I'd just like to thank the Clarksville-Montgomery County NAACP for hosting this tonight. Me and Jeff hadn't had very many forums to be able to, for people to hear our platforms. But I was born and raised here in Montgomery County. I graduated from Montgomery Central High School in 1994. I began work that summer at the Montgomery County Highway Department. I was there 26 years last week. And like I said, I've got hands-on experience. I've got several University of Tennessee training classes that I've been through, and there's a lot of change that needs to be done at the Highway Department. And with me being there hands-on, I see what the day-to-day changes need to be. And but like I say, thank you all for hosting this for us.
Absolutely. So again, I want to thank you both for showing up. The times that we've had these, I appreciate you both for doing this. We think this is very important. We have a lot of complaints about roads, and so we would think that more people would show up to verbalize their questions, so they can get answers to all the statements that they make, I should say. So, Mr. Knight, since you are unmuted, I'm going to ask you the first question, and
Okay.
I'm going to go to Mr. Bryant with the same question after, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the first question would be, what do you consider to be the most needed county road projects that would be under your initial supervision?
The most needed county road projects, I feel, Rollo Lane is one that needs to be widened. There is so much traffic from all of the plants out there on Rollo Lane in between Dunlop and Rossview, Dunlop Lane up to Rollo Lane, just past Rollo, and that needs to be widened. There's so much development that is going on out there, and Dotsonville Road is another road that needs maybe some turning lanes or something. It's gotten more traffic on it than what the road was originally designed for. But those are some of the ones that I'd like to focus on, other than River Road. And I think me and Jeff will both agree on River Road. It definitely needs some work.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Bryant.
I think Rollo Lane is a good project, but I think that gets tied into it should be tied into the Rossview Road widening project that goes out to the new school. If that's what ends up happening for the new school location out on Rossview Road, I know there's talks of that being widened. So that would be a project that would be state funded, and as a licensed engineer, I would be able to manage that project. And as part of that project, I would want to wrap Rollo Lane into that. And River Road, I hear that one a lot, but it's more than just repaving that road. There's a lot of structural instability with that road being on the bluff there. So I think we need to look at some horizontal realignments. I know it's going to be costly, but if we don't want to have to keep going back every few years to add more asphalt or whatever, then we need to look at how we can stabilize that road. And so those are two major roads that I do see coming in the near future.
Absolutely. And so while you're unmuted, I'll ask you the next question. What new systems would you put in place to make the requesting of highway repair support the least cumbersome?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would get with our IT department and see what the county IT department, see what software they already had in place. I know we have a work order system with the city, so I would look and see, are we utilizing what the county has for all the other departments, or is that something we need to get on board with at the highway department, is utilizing some type of work order system so the taxpayers can submit some complaints? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Mr. Knight, do you need me to repeat the question?
If you don't mind, please, ma'am.
Sure, no problem. What new systems would you put in place to make requesting highway repair support the least cumbersome?
One thing I would like to do is have town hall meetings with the taxpayers of Montgomery County, to go out each month in a different area to hear their concerns and see what areas that they feel needs fixing. I mean, you can drive the roads, but, you know, without hearing from the people to actually see what needs to be done and what they feel needs to be done, I mean, that I would have an open door policy there at the highway department for the taxpayers to come into the highway department to see me, and I would hear their concerns and try to help them if there's any way possible.
Absolutely. So the next question would be, with ongoing growth in Montgomery County, what would be your strategy for addressing the increased traffic needs of our county road network, Mr. Knight, since you're unmuted?
I would like to work with the Planning Commission, with the county commissioners, the county mayor, to see where the future growth is coming, and try to work on the roads right now that they're building some mini subdivisions on. Try to work on those and get them up to par, in better shape than what they are, to handle the traffic, better signage. I'd like to put reflectors down the yellow lines so people could see better at night, and maybe it would help them see and navigate the roads better.
Absolutely. Mr. Bryant, would you like for me to repeat the question? Mr. Bryant?
No, I heard the question. Thank you, though. What can we do to attack the growth? Well, you know, every month I'm working with the Planning Commission to see what new zonings or developments are coming in. So that's one thing we got to do, is the highway supervisor's got to be at the table with the Planning Commission so we can identify those areas of growth. Meeting with the school system, seeing where they may need some areas of attention for the buses. Working with the county mayor, maybe even the city mayor and county commissioners as well. And then, you know, like I said, going to TDOT to see what funding would be available for certain roadway projects. As I said, as a licensed engineer, I can go after those that state funding so we can attack those projects. I know there's some state roads that need some attention right now. So I would definitely go after state funding to attack the growth. And I do have those experience with meeting with elected officials and trying to get certain projects here in Clarksville. So that's what I can do is meet with all those different agencies and elected officials to figure out a way to bring money back into Montgomery County so we can attack the traffic needs.
Okay, so Mr. Bryant, I've heard you before in other forums where you mentioned quite frequently about the IT department and implementing IT. What would be your plan for implementing a more technical service for the highway department?
Well, I think what you're referring to is my plan to bring in a more technology-based pavement management system. We can use technology to go out there and rate the roads, give it a rating between 0 and 100, and 100 being the best. Once we have all the roads rated, then we can do a combination of different things to make our roads last longer. And the more money that we can throw at preventative maintenance and rejuvenation of our roads, the longer they're going to last, to where we don't have to do the more costly repaving of the roads. Rejuvenation and preventative maintenance is a fraction of the cost of repaving a road. So, just utilizing GIS and another software, we can do all that and make it more a systematic approach to the whole county and not just subjective.
Okay. Mr. Knight, would you like to comment?
I can, if you'd like me to. Yes, ma'am. Our paving right now, Mike Frost, our former supervisor, passed away. He rated the roads 0 to 5, and 0 being the worst, 5 being the best. And that's the way that he did it. But I would like to implement a different way of the pavement management system. I'd also like for the highway department to have a milling machine where we can mill the roads down, get the shoulders lower, the asphalt to stick better. A milling machine would be so beneficial to the highway department. It'll just make the asphalt last so much longer, save on taxpayers' dollars. But that's kind of my platform on trying to implement some paving and some IT.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Knight, again, just the status of our country right now and everything that's happening right now in our country. Just what actions would you take to ensure that your employees are protected from the impact of COVID-19 as far as the workforce and just across our county?
I would like to make sure that each employee had the opportunity to wear a mask, make sure that each employee has their own hand sanitizer, try to stay social distance if at all possible. It's kind of hard. Sometimes our mower operators, they're more able to be social distance because they're running the mowers every day and they're to themselves. But you've got a lot of people like the paving crew. You've got to be together right there on the paver. But and it is hard to wear a mask when you're on the back of the paver and that asphalt's between 150 and 200 degrees. But I would like to make sure that each employee can stay safe and have every opportunity they can.
Did you find it easier when the beginning of COVID-19 in March to do the roads when there was less traffic on the road?
It was so much easier and when it was less traffic. Also, it was easier when we worked the split shifts, when we had 35 employees working one week, 35 working the next week, which I know that's not beneficial to the taxpayers because some employees were off and getting paid for it, but it was safer for the employees. You wasn't around as many. Like when you're there at the shop, you've got 65 to 70 people there, and it's hard to social distance, but we do the very best we can.
Absolutely. Mr. Bryant, would you like to respond, please?
Yeah, I think, at the street department, what we've done is we've staggered our start times for different crews. We have 3 different start times. We do a 6:30, 7, and a 7:30. That way we have the least amount of people in the office at one time. And then when they're in the vehicles, they're wearing masks. They all have hand sanitizer. After we get in the office, after we get done with a meeting, we're sanitizing the office, the meeting area. And when we do pre-construction meetings, we've implemented the video conference for just about everybody that would be involved in the pre-construction meeting. The only person we require from outside of the street department is the grading contractor or the owner. So we've really cut down on the amount of people that attend in person at a meeting. That way we can control the environment a little bit easier.
Okay. So this next question is really going to be for the constituents as well as for you. But have you ever hired a person and describe the factors you think are important when hiring someone? Mr. Bryant, first, please.
Yes, I've hired a few people. In a leadership role, we're always trying to hire and do interviews, and you just try to make sure that the person is knowledgeable in the area that you are hiring for, and if they don't have the exact knowledge that you're looking for, that they have the ability to get that knowledge. Just making sure that you can trust them, they're honest and easy to work with. Yep.
Okay. Mr. Knight?
As far as hiring at the highway department, no ma'am, I have not, because Mike Frost or Mr. Doug Black, they always did the hiring. But I've run a farm, raised tobacco, cut hay, and I've hired a lot of people to help me on the farm. And like I said, as long as they work hard, that's what I look at. I don't care what their race, what their gender is, as long as they're a hard worker and work and can get the job done, that's the main thing.
Absolutely. So this next question, Mr. Knight, what is one important decision that you've had to make that you thought was critical?
Some of the decisions I've had to make is like on which roads to close on kind of high water. We've had several roads we've had to close because of water, and it's kind of critical because a lot of people want to get through, but you don't want to take a chance of it getting flooded, especially in 2010. We had several roads that we had to keep closed. Mike Frost, he made the critical decisions on a lot of those, but here lately with all the rain, we've had a lot of roads that have flooded, and that's one thing that, we have to make sure of is to try to keep everybody safe.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bryant, do you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah, if you could repeat it, that would be great.
Yes. What is one important decision that you've had to make that was critical in your current position?
Well, I'm always meeting with citizens who have drainage issues, trying to determine a solution to those drainage issues. Sometimes we're out in the middle of the night. It could be midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's coming, it's raining real hard. And, I was driving around one night, and we have certain areas identified as trouble areas. So I noticed that the water was rising real quick at this person's house, and in the middle of the night, I had to go knock on his door, wake him up, and said, "Sir, you're about to get water in your garage." And I called our crews to come put sandbags, and by the time they got the sandbags out there, the water was at the sandbags. So if we would have waited any longer, that person would have had water in their garage. So I deal with those type issues all the time with drainage, anything like that. I'm dealing with it.
Okay. So this next question from Mr. Bryant first. What processes will you enact to maintain a positive relationship with the Montgomery County Commission and basically regarding the funding base?
It's important to have communication with them all the time so they know exactly what you're looking at trying to achieve and understanding what you need to achieve those. If they don't understand, they're not going to be willing to provide you the funding for if it's a project or equipment or whatever it is. You just got to communicate and let them know what those needs are. And I would like to invite one of the commissioners to come sit in at the highway board meetings, the monthly board meetings, so they're fully aware of what's going on. So that's one thing that I want to do is invite one of the county commissioners that can come in, listen to the board meetings, and then they can go back and talk to the other the county commissioners and communicate those needs for us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Knight?
Yes, ma'am. No, I'd like to make sure, if elected highway supervisor, that I attended all of the county commission meetings. And like Jeff said, the commissioners need to be more involved. I'd love for them to come over to the highway department. Right now, there's 3 commissioners, and they're just the road commissioners. None of the county commissioners comes to the meeting. And, but that it would be very beneficial to them and for us if they would attend. That way they could understand what we needed and some of the things, but just it needs to be more communication with the highway supervisor and the county commission.
Absolutely. So I don't have any further questions for you. Are there any questions from any members on this call? If there are no questions from the members of this call, I truly appreciate you showing up this evening. And like Jimmy said, we're going to make sure that your responses get out to the people so that they have a better understanding of what your platform is. We thank you so very much. I know this is not the first time that you've joined us, and we wish more, the city would do this for you, because this is an important seat right here. And a lot of people, the main complaint about Clarksville is the traffic and the roads. So it's amazing that they're not interested, more interested. So, and maybe we can help you get a county commissioner to come to the meeting. We might be able to help do that, by voicing that concern for you. So we absolutely could possibly do that for you. So again, thank you very much. I'm going to turn you over to Jimmy before we get to our next selection. But thank you again very much for showing up tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the conversation that you guys had. And yes, the school system is getting ready to build 3 schools over by Rossville. And so the bottom line is we have been talking about having the state to come down and take a look at widening the roads and whatever the case may be. So those are very timely subjects that you brought up, and I appreciate you for thinking about us. As always, you know, running for an election is not always the easiest thing to do, but it's something that is honorable, and it's something that everybody needs to dip their feet in every now and then. Again, we appreciate you for coming out, and we hope that you weren't you don't feel that you were actually used or any kind of way, because the bottom line, our goal was to try to make sure that we get the word out, that we can get the word out to let people know what you're all about. Okay? Thank you so much again. Stay with us. Yes, sir.
This is the second forum I've done with y'all, and I've done a really good job the 2 times that I've done a forum with you. So I really appreciate the questions that y'all have asked. They've been great questions, and just thank you again for hosting this forum for us.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. And we thank you for being so respectful. You don't understand how important that is for us. We have people that are respecting one another, so we appreciate you very much for that. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You want us to duke it out for a few minutes?
No,
No, we doing all right.
we appreciate the current status.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you again.
Yes.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.